All right, next gear review. 1979-ish Marantz 1152 DC. These were manufactured between 78 and 80. It's a direct coupled receiver with an interesting function or option switch that I'll talk about in a little bit. 76 watts per channel into 8 ohms. 17 by 6 by 13 is the size. So this is a little on the small side. 31 pounds. And in terms of where this lined up in the Marantz series, this was smack dab in the middle. So the year that this was released, or the years that this was sold, I should say, it was literally smack dab right in the middle of the pack. So you had a 1300 DC, 1180 DC, the 1152 that you see here, an 1122, and then a 1090 DC, or 1090, not DC. So as you can see, the aesthetics of this particular integrated amplifier, right? It's one of Marantz's, console or integrated amplifiers. They use console on these, at least the ones that I've seen. It's direct coupled, but this has an interesting switch on the back. It has AC or DC coupled, and I'll talk about that when I talk about the features, because this can be a little overwhelming with all the stuff you have going on here. So the sound for this one, I would say this one it's a nice clean sound. It's definitely not a capacitor coupled receiver. It's kind of more on the bright end of things. It does sound good, right? But just it kind of depends on what you like to listen to, whether or not you like bright or you like mellow. I prefer mellow, given my listening preference, what I listen to. So this is a little bit, in my opinion, this one, a little bit on the brighter side, which makes sense. In terms of, ease of use or operability, I would say with this one, it's kind of easy to get lost in the controls, right? So if you just look at the control layout, you've got the selector knob, right? You've got selector knob, you've got a tape copy button, or knob, I should say. So selector knob, tape copy knob, tape monitor, so you can go to 1, 2, or listen to the source. You've got your tone controls, right? You have a mode for stereo, reverse, left, or right, left and right, left or right. You have a contour, so instead of just a loudness button, you can actually kind of dial the contour in. And you find this a lot on Yamahas, and I don't particularly like how Yamaha's contour works, but this one, on this particular Marantz, I really like how this contour works. I mean, you can really kind of dial in the sound and get a lot more low end that I've noticed a lot more low end on this than on some Yamahas, is what I'm trying to say. Volume, then you've got a couple of turnover switches or buttons. You have a defeat button, you have a minus 20 decibels button. You've got a sliding balance control. You have, what is that? Couple of filters, right? You have your speaker selects, and then power. In terms of hookups on the back, right, it's kind of a normal RCA hookups, spring-loaded speaker terminals. You do have this AC AC coupled, DC coupled switch on the back, and per the owner's manual, because I had no idea what that thing did. Per the owner's manual, you leave it in the AC position to avoid that popping noise that you hear if you either turn it off or on, or you connect components or something like that. I don't know that it does anything different with the sound. I don't know that it may put a coupling capacitor somewhere in the output circuitry. I really don't know. Right, but that's all I could find about it, and I found a thread on Audio Karma. If you want to read it and get your head spinning on what everyone's trying to explain out there, do so on your own. But basically, according to the manual, if you don't want a popping sound when you're doing something on this, then you leave it in the AC coupled position. This one was in the DC coupled position. I don't know why. Right. Now this one is turned off. The blue light would be on if it was turned on. I think I left the blue light on in the picture, but there's really nothing to see besides the blue light. So easy to get lost in the features on this thing. You have to do a little bit of homework to figure out what's going on with it. In terms of serviceability, so there is a video, or there will be a video that I'll release on this at some point in time, talking about what I had to do to it. So I didn't, these aren't particularly difficult to work on, but you know, the circuitry, the more complex the circuitry, you know, naturally the more complex the repairs are potentially going to be. So this being middle of the road, kind of an intermediate type receiver or integrated amplifier to work on. So in terms of, you know, what to look for on one of these, so I've only worked on, I probably serviced maybe one other, maybe two other of these. This one came to me with a bad selector knob that I had to go in and fix. So basically what this was doing is it was kind of stuck in the middle here. And I didn't even film this because I was literally just farting around seeing if I could figure out what the problem was, and I fixed it. But so the portion of the this assembly that kind of gives you the clicking, right? It was a little loose, so I had to bend part of the assembly down just a little tiny bit to get it to click. And then I think it was just misaligned, so I realigned it, and now it works just fine. So I got that working. That was pretty easy. You know, naturally something like this, cosmetic issues, you want to make sure you have the knobs. Now, you know, if you see one of these with a broken potentiometer or a broken shaft here for the knob, because this is really actually a slider, or not a slider, but it's like a switch control. Sometimes the parts for these can be difficult to find at times. So make sure if you're looking at one of these, it's got all the knobs. And if you were to buy one with a broken shaft that this knob goes to, I'm looking for one on a Marantz receiver, and I've been looking for one to pop up on eBay that's not ridiculously priced for about 6 months, and I can't find one. So definitely make sure all of these are present and none of them are broken, because again, you don't know if there's a potentiometer on the other side of this, or if this connects to a longer bar that goes back to some type of switch mechanism, or like sliding switch mechanism. You know, naturally these sliders, you know, I haven't seen many, or I have not encountered many issues with sliders on, you know, different types, different manufacturers, pieces of equipment. But, you know, I would definitely, if these look damaged, I might pass on it because, you know, you don't know availability in terms of parts for those. So, you know, other than cosmetics, you know, you want to make sure it comes out of protection and all that kind of stuff. So those are things that I would look out for on these. In terms of price on these, oh, and when I was looking up the serviceability stuff, I didn't find any common problems with these. I don't have a lot of experience with them. I just happen to have one that I kind of farted around with. So I don't know of any common issues. So like if you get one, you need to do this. You need to go to this board and change out these components. I couldn't really find any common threads on problems with these. So if you know of any, please include them in the comments. In terms of price, so if you're looking at buying one of these restored, you know, you're looking at probably around the $700 to $800 is kind of what I recently saw when I went out and looked. This one is pretty clean. It does have a few little scratches on the cabinet here, the metal cabinet here. So, you know, one in this condition, now this has been recapped. I didn't recap it, someone else did. Serviced, $600. You know, this one recapped with some additional service done to it, maybe, you know, between 6 and 8, something like that. But if these have been serviced or worked on, they're working. $600 range, I would say. You know, this one's got some scratches up here, so I would not, you know, charge a premium for this one. But if this one were completely clean, $800, I think. So this is probably around that $600 range. And then for parts, you know, they'll go for $300, sub $300, if you find one for parts. You know, and then who knows what the issue is. And then when I say parts, again, I'm talking about repairing. So, you know, somewhere around that $300 range, you can pick one of these up and work on it. You know, I do like integrated amplifiers. I do like Marantz. I'm not down with this particular style. I just, these are cool, but I like a 1060 at, and I'm a cap coupled kind of guy. So, not my aesthetic, but it is very nice. I do prefer this one, all silver, to the series. I think it was the series before this, but where you've got like a black panel in here that the knobs sit on. I do prefer this look to that look. Yeah, so not a bad amplifier. Again, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I certainly wouldn't pass one of these up at the right, at a good price. And just watch out for those few little gremlins, so they don't bite you if you pick one up to work on. So that's it for the Marantz 1152 DC. As always, if you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.